Hey everybody, welcome. I told you I would give you a more detailed look at the room and the equipment that I'm using in my listening room, the Triophonic Lounge, and hopefully explain why it's called the Triophonic Lounge. And even though earlier in the year I did a video about my record collection and did a look through the stacks for you, threw some of that in as well, so you can see some of the CDs and the vinyl that I have in here. So welcome to the tour of the Triophonic Lounge. There's a lot of signage and promotional pieces and display items and lighting to sort of enhance the experience in the room. We're moving a bit too fast as far as the video is concerned to describe anything in detail, but if anybody has any questions about any of it, please feel free to leave a question or a comment in the comments section. I'm a sucker for neon, so I got a couple of nice pieces here. The cool thing is I use Sennheiser equipment, and I used to sell Alvarez guitars. Some tributes to some of my favorite artists and styles of music, and Buffalonians, famous Western New Yorkers and Western New York bands and musicians. Here's a little tree I keep with backstage passes and ID and credentials from various events I've worked, either as an artist or security or sound tech or stagehand or whatever. A good portion of my antique and vintage radio collection is down here, along with memorabilia from a number of other things, lots of music stuff, but also science fiction and comics and other things that I'm into. Some retail promotional pieces. That Donald Duck was my dad's. He did a Donald Duck impression, and all of his grandkids and nieces and nephews knew him as Donald Duck, so that's why that's there. Here's a misspelled sign from a club we used to play, Great Place, Vizzy's. The owner, Joe, is a great guy. He was doing us a favor and trying to surprise us by making a sign with our band's name on it because we were kind of regulars there, but he spelled it wrong. That happens, I guess. Here's my comfy listening chair, recliner, with the Batman pillow my kids bought for me when they were young, and it's very soft and comfortable. Here's some of the music I have down in the basement. We've got a lot of CDs, but also lots of vinyl. That was the part of the favorite section there. We're looking at blues now, and followed by soul, R&B, and related genres. Also African, West African, that sort of thing. What else do we have here? DVDs, VHS, a lot of movies, but a bunch of it is also music-oriented or concert video. The Latin section, which includes Afro-Cuban, Brazilian, salsa, Latin jazz, all of that. Moving over to reggae. And there's also vinyl underneath, but it's kind of messy, so I didn't show it to you. But I have a fairly significant amount of reggae on vinyl and CD. Back to the favorite section, which includes lots of Count Basie and John Coltrane and Sonny Rollins and Bob Marley and Blue Note, a lot of Blue Note and Impulse stuff, and basically all my favorite stuff. I have a small doo-wop collection, so most of all of it is right there. Some of the CDs and records that I've been on are in there. It's just the stuff that's easier to keep together. And this is out in the outer room, looking at some of the shelves of vinyl, mostly vinyl, a few 78s and things like that. But this is the jazz section, at least the beginning of it. And then there's some more, and also the blues vinyl area. R&B, soul, roots rock, all that stuff is kind of in the first section. Some miscellaneous items that haven't been quite filed yet. And then we're in the progressive rock section. And rock and roll, pop, 80s, that sort of thing. Some of my oldest singles are in there. My oldest 7 inches. World music. And some of the music books, reference material. And this is literally some. I've got a mess more. And I did have to burn some books a few years ago. Not only did we have a flood in 2019 here, in 2018 we had a disaster where some of our stuff in storage was attacked by termites. So I wound up having to burn some fairly valuable and rare books. Shame, but yeah, there's more than this. Some 45s, and now we're into the equipment. So if anybody watched the preview video the other day, you'll already see that I switched some things around, but I put the JBL S26 Studio Series up front, switched the realistics into the back. So the tops, if you will, the top end is in the JBLs, which are called studio monitors, and they're not really studio monitors, but I used to use them for studio monitors. So I've mixed some records on these, which is kind of cool. They're good speakers. And the bottom end is the Aero Holisonic 909s, and they're pretty full. I've got a couple of sets of realistic in the back. I'm really only using the bottoms right now, and I forget the model numbers of those. I'll try to post them later if I can. But that is the whole reason that we are in a Triophonic lounge. These speakers in back are just running in mono, and they have just a light touch of signal with some spring reverb on it, which again I'll explain a little bit more when we get to the front end of the system. But it just gives me a little bit of backsplash that sort of simulates a live situation. Headphones right now are the semi-open Hi-Fi Man 400i's, which are nice headphones. They weren't too expensive, even though they're probably the most expensive headphones I've ever owned. Turntable is a Gemini 2400. We have a Sony 6-disc CD player, a EQ that I'm using just to correct for some things in the room. It's an old audio source. Kenwood double cassette deck, and there are times when I will play some cassettes, that's true. And the gem of the system, the receiver and amp, is a Pioneer, and with the accompanying Pioneer spring reverb. They used to sell reverbs for home stereo systems so people could add more if they wanted to hear it or have sort of a live sound. They're actually nice little spring reverbs for using in the studio or for enhancing your stereo setup if you are so inclined. And they look cool too. They have what's called the magic eye. This light opens up more as you add more reverb. So I use it for just a little backsplash in the back of the room, and it gives me sort of a more encompassing sound. This is my shame right here. I know all the sound men and techs and DJs will say, what about your wire management? But I'm not worried about that right now. I just wanted to get some things up and running after a year and a half of not having this place to listen to music in. So I've got a lot of gear sitting in storage, including a lot of pro lighting. So I decided to bring some of that in here because I'm not using it right now. And, why not enhance the experience in the room a bit? So I've got some lighting in the room, and I may add some more later. I've got those neon lights that I purchased for very inexpensively, and they look awesome. And also my very own Tesla coil and some lava lamps. No room to listen to music in or studio is really finished until you have lava lamps. This sign has to be mounted, but it's going to balance out the neon signs. It's a beautiful Coke sign that my wife bought for me, and I just think it's awesome. So this is going to add to the lighting effect in the room. And here's what it looks like when I'm lounging about listening to some music, and I can't wait to do more of that. So as I test out this system, I've been listening to a lot of jazz and reggae and other things. I decided to pull something a little bit more rocking, King Crimson's Discipline from 1981, but you're going to have to hear that another time. I got to enjoy it already. So if you have a question about anything you've seen, either audio related or music or anything else, please feel free to leave that question in the comments and I'll try to get to it and let you know what's happening. Hope you enjoyed the tour. We'll see you next time.